The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. You can find this one on YouTube. It's in your podcast app as well. An update from us at the Square Ball in a show that is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. Those guys still tolerating us for a new year.
Do you want to know the really good news?
What's that?
The website's still working.
Oh,
because I just loaded it up. That's
right.
levisolicitors.co.uk /the Square Ball.
Yeah.
If you want a discount.
So they know that they've come in via us.
Or if you just want to go on there to check some of the services they provide, because you have to do a sponsorship read and you sometimes forget them. But
Sometimes.
So, I know the big three. And lasting powers of attorney, that one's stuck now as well.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to know about?
Just what sort of discount I can get, really.
10%.
On your legal fees?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you find full details and terms on the website?
Yep.
That's
that
good,
even accounts if you're contacting them about residential property disputes.
Yeah. Or if you're moving house, conveyancing new year. Memory like a goldfish. What's that website address again? That functioning website. That's the great news.
It's internet solicitors at thesquareball.net, something like that. No, it's levisolicitors.co.uk /the Square Ball.
Dan with you, with Michael and with Dean as we round up the latest goings on at Ellen Road. 15 years we've been doing this, by the way.
Madness.
Just realised, haven't we, before we started recording? We started this podcast January the 4th, 2010.
After a big one.
Yeah, after January the 3rd, 2010. Big day, wasn't it?
Did you listen to it, Dean? If not, you get out.
I don't think I listened to it live, but I've listened to it since.
He was only about 5, I think, then, wasn't he?
How old are you, Dean?
I'm 35 this month.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Quite young still.
That's 20.
Yeah, so
just done the maths there.
Yeah, so I had the internet then.
What's your favourite moment of the last 15 years of doing this? I mean, it's kind of wavered. It's been on and off, but we've been doing it consistently now for a good few years. Built a pretty decent audience, which is fun. Thank you very much.
I was listening back to an old episode this very morning.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it?
Because
your awful opinions and your silly young voice.
We do sound quite different. You're talking about your daughter being 3 years old.
Really?
And I thought that'll make you feel
fucking
particularly old.
She's doing her GCSEs this year.
Yeah.
In fact, she was supposed to be at school today doing mocks, but it's been snowed off. Got woke snow or whatever.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
They won't do anything in the snow, will they?
No.
Snowflakes, literally.
Yeah.
I did my actual GCSEs in a field covered in snow.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In summer?
It's almost true.
In summer?
Yeah. It was colder then.
Right.
It was different. Before it was pre-global warming.
The government weather machine.
That's right. No, but I was listening to the episode where we're covering Blackpool 5, Leeds 0, to hear what we had to say about Rahubka, because I think it's relevant, obviously, for discussions this week, so that you can hear a little bit of that in Propaganda, which is out tomorrow.
Right. I was chatting to Bryn Law on Monday, where we reflected on what happened at Hull at the weekend and Elon Meslier. Is it bad that I've started to feel sorry for Elon Meslier because he's a human being and he's only 24 years old, barely older than Dean was when he first probably started listening to this?
No, I think you're okay to feel sorry for him, but it doesn't mean you should want him to play.
Bryn did also balance that out by saying, livelihoods depend on the outcome of this season. So, and I suppose in many ways, this does a bit. Shit. Elon.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because it must be such a difficult place now for him to recover his confidence. And I just can't see that will happen at Leeds. I really feel like he needs to go to like a mid-table League side and just play some games. I still think he could be a top keeper, but I can't see it being here with the pressure that Leeds United puts on players. I think he needs to go and have a little refresh and just have a nice time for a bit.
I do struggle to see, not a way back for him, but I don't ever think we'll see a confident Elon Meslier in the Leeds United goal. I don't think.
I think it comes from the crowd and it comes from teammates as well, because I think we're at the point now where no one in the stadium will trust him to deal with stuff. Like it's got to the point already with me, I think, where if I see him save a shot, even a shot that you would expect a keeper to save almost 100% of the time, that first shot he saves, I'm almost like feel a sense of relief for it, which I shouldn't. It should be a given that like a 25-yarder that's not got much pace on it is getting saved, because that's what a keeper's job is. And I've not been at that stage for a long while with Meslier. And on set pieces and on corners and everything, I'm just always like, oh, what's he going to do this time? What's he going to do this time? And you sense from Joe Rodon's reaction at the weekend, he maybe is in the same place with it of being like, I've had enough of this, of you, of having to worry about stuff.
Yeah, and I think confidence-wise as well, if we stick with him through this transfer window, which I think we probably will, because I don't know who we're going to get, and then I think we'd still be okay. I think we'd still get promoted. I think we'd probably still win the league. But then going into next season, if he does start with us, again, confidence-wise, the step up to the Premier League means that he's probably going to be picking the ball out of the back of the net quite a lot. It's not going to do anything for him. It's not going to do anything for his mindset. I just really think that for the good of him, he doesn't want to keep going like this. Otherwise, he's going to end up like Bamford, where confidence is gone, crowd support is waning massively. I think he's on a bit of a hide into nothing. And if I was him, I'd be thinking, let's get back over to the homeland.
Yeah. We sometimes presume, I think, with footballers that development is a straight line as well. That you start as a youngster down here, and as you go through your career up to a certain point, it's just upwards. You're just getting better.
Is that because you are now age 40 peaking?
Yes, I'm right at the top of that bell curve physically.
He's not even begun to peak yet.
Well, the thing with me, sorry, I'm
you.
Me. Oh, yes. We'll wait and see what happens.
It's 60-year-old you. We're still doing this in another 20 years' time.
My resolution: get straight on the rides.
Yeah,
going to get massive this year.
Right,
with my bad back. But yeah, with Meslier, he's still really young, but we just remember sort of 21-year-old Meslier looking so good, and you assume keepers are going to keep getting better, don't you? And he's clearly got worse.
He's kind of learned fear, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, possibly.
In the same way that, like, kids, have you ever been, like, you took your kids swimming or whatever, and they were a bit of a danger to themselves in the early years, where they just run and jump in even though they couldn't swim.
Yes.
But then they kind of learn fear of water. It's a little bit like that. Like he was probably just flying by the seat of his pants in the early days, and then all the trauma of getting 100 goals put past you in 2 seasons or whatever it was, and then getting relegated can do damage to someone. Yeah, sometimes just moving's a good solution for everybody.
There's a level of forgiveness as well that comes with being a young goalkeeper, because people go, he's 21, he's only played 30 games, he's going to make these mistakes, but he's learning. We're now over 200 games, and it's got worse. So you can blame the defence when we were in the Premier League, but now the defence is really tight. He's not facing many shots. But now you get people who are, I guess, trying to be sympathetic will say, it's difficult when you've not got much to do. But it was difficult when he had a lot to do as well. Yeah, we do have to find some sort of sweet spot where we have 8 shots on target to save a game, but it's not too many, and a lot of them are quite easy. It just feels like the first shot goes in. It's
basic stuff as well. It's not just the saves that go through him, the shots that go through when he's trying to make saves. It's stuff like that, for example, that just tip it over the bar or leave it, one of the two. And he didn't leave it because he didn't know exactly where he was. So if he didn't know exactly where he was, tip it over. Just tip it over.
I think there's probably a little bit of blame to put at the door of, dare I say it, Bielsa, because towards the end of Bielsa's tenure, like, I didn't want Bielsa to go. I don't want people to think that I did. But there was that period where opposition centre-backs were just waltzing through our team because everyone else was being man-marked. And Meslier was just facing shot after shot after shot. Then Bielsa goes, again, didn't want him to go. Marsh comes in, and all of a sudden we're not playing with fullbacks. The fullbacks are playing as like second centre-backs. And so the crosses are coming in. He was so busy in those periods. And maybe when Bielsa left and Marsh came in, his coaching, I'm assuming, just fell off a cliff. So I do think, like you said on the match ball, Dan, I think he's plateaued and gone backwards. And I still think he's going to be a top keeper, but it just can't be at Leeds United.
You see, I don't think he is going to be a top keeper.
I've lost faith.
I think he has moments of brilliance, which we've seen with some of the saves that he very, very occasionally pulls off. But there are loads of really savable shots that seem to get through him as well. So I think maybe it's not that he'll hit a level of 7 out of 10 and everything will be fine. He will have brilliant moments because goalkeepers are trained to do brilliant things, and it'll sawtooth. It'll be some good moments, but he's having an increasingly large amount of terrible ones. And maybe that's just his level. Maybe that's just what he's destined for. Look at how Gelhardt's gone backwards in terms of his development as well.
Like the little fact sheet that Meslier FC Data produced, the one that stood out for me on there is 5 goals conceded from the first shot on target faced, and that is how it feels. Like, it doesn't feel like you'd have to do anything to score against us sometimes. It's just like, they've had a shot, so of course it's gone in.
Yeah,
and I know 5 times isn't actually all that many,
and we're really porous from set pieces as well.
Yeah, very bad.
It feels like if you can tighten those things up, then then do. We probably don't need to rake this over the coals as well, because I think everyone is in sort of broad agreement that it can't continue and there's a bit of an issue there. The question is what do they do? And it was a really interesting question posed by Bryn Law on Monday. Do they roll the dice on this? And it was interesting, actually, the point that Bryn made, and what provoked a thought in me was Farke backed him off the back of Sunderland, but he's now been let down by him in a similar sort of way. Mm-hmm. And that reflects then on Farke. And I'd not really factored that in until Bryn mentioned it on Monday. So makes you wonder if Farke has now seen enough. And did you see the Daily Mail story that's been doing the rounds in the last 24 hours? It's got all the hallmarks of...
Is it if civil war is inevitable? No, different Daily Mail story. Sorry.
It's got all the hallmarks of sources at senior level at Leeds United. Let's put it that way, because the Mail seems to be the favoured organ of choice when it comes to talking about ground development and the great job that Daniel Farke has done, so on and so forth. And buried right in the middle of it is the Leeds will listen to offers for Illan Meslier, and they want a new striker. They're looking at cover for full-back, centre-back, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so the meat and potatoes in there is that bit, but it's padded on both sides by a bit of a puff piece in the Daily Mail. So, I mean, I might be being cynical by suggesting it's come from senior people at Ellen Road, or they've made it up completely. One of the two is probably true if they know what the transfer strategy is. Anyway, listening to offers for him, is it the time?
Yes.
You think so?
I don't know what we are expecting in terms of a fee anymore, because how much would you want to pay for him based on this season's show reel?
Yeah,
he's been at fault for about half of our goals.
Yeah, football is mad though, as we've said before. It is completely mad.
Do they have homegrown rules in France? That might help.
Yes.
Like how people get Scott Carson to sit on a bench. Will PSG sign him to sit on their bench for a decade? Because that'd be an option. At this point, though, if you could take 5 or 10 million, I suppose you would.
Well, God, yeah. In the brilliant TSB Plus Daily Email from yesterday, there is a story that was doing the rounds in, it doesn't say on here, that Meslier has been linked with an exit in the current transfer window, with Manchester United Football Club reportedly interested as they search for a backup to Andre Onana. In this story, guess the price. If you've not read it, guess the price.
15.
Michael? I've read it.
All right. 13 million is what has been touted here. Would you say yes, B, say yes so quick that you hit yourself in the face? I don't know. You take that price every day. Yes.
Yeah, because I think...
Even to them.
Yeah.
Or especially to them, if it's that money.
I'm just not asked.
I don't care where your money's from.
Fair enough.
I'm like FIFA.
Yeah. Because it's entirely different to a player that you want to retain. Like when Ferdinand went there, that hurt. That was a punch to the guts.
Yeah.
But
or Smith.
You've got a keeper who is, like I say, he's plateaued, he's gone backwards, whatever it might be, to go and sit and be number 2. 13 million is outrageous money, really, because the key driver, to my opinion, is I think we could replace him for less than that and get adequate, better in terms of standard.
I mean, realistically,
with that sort of money.
Take Caldalo out of the mix for a bit, because he's the obvious second choice. Against Harrogate, and indeed moving forward, if we only had Meslier or Cairns at the moment, you'd be inclined to give Cairns a few games, and he was a free transfer in summer and will be on very low wages. So if you're talking about wanting him in instead of a £13 million goalkeeper, you're probably better off taking the money, aren't you? I mean, I very much doubt we're going to get 13 million quid for him, I have to say, particularly in January.
Yeah. But football is mad. I say it's mad, isn't it? And there's an English tax, and I know Meslier is French, but
I was going to say, I can see a flaw in this argument.
No, what I'm saying, internal English transfers, the market for it is inflated, is what I was trying to get at. So you never know.
You never know.
So yeah, the question is, do you roll the dice? I suppose, I think it feels like we're all probably ready to do so. Would you be tempted to dip into the free agent market? Like Keylor Navas
Some see on a free.
Well, yeah, but like Keylor Navas is on there, for example, 38 years old now. Is he Costa Rican international Navas? Yeah.
Retired.
Is he completely
from
retired?
Costa Rica?
Right.
He's not said he's retired from football, because I did check this.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, is he came in short term when Forest needed a bit of a boost. Come and do it.
did very well against us.
He
Man
was
of the match.
brilliant against us.
Got Jesse Marsh's sack though, so I mean,
Yeah. But just a seasoned pro who you can, I suppose. I mean, I know there's obvious parallels with Kiko Casilla.
I was going to say,
but yeah, I don't know.
Although I will say, Navas actually played for Real Madrid, whereas Casilla was a sub nearly always.
Yeah,
he was their cup goalkeeper, wasn't he?
Would you say come and do it? Come and give us 6 months. Just
he's also not played since May.
Shot. All right,
because he's a bit unattached.
But you were talking about that bell curve at 38. He's just peaking, mate.
He's put on 6 stone. He's going to be like the return of Neville Southall.
We were talking about Southall, weren't we? And then it led on to talking about Fatty Folks. Have you ever seen a picture of Fatty Folks?
Why were we talking about Neville? I was Welsh goalkeepers with Brim, wasn't it, before we recorded?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's Fatty Folks?
Played at one of the Sheffield
sort of Victorian era goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh,
just a massive fat bloke.
But if you find pictures of him, he played for Bradford briefly. But
if you can't find him, look for Kevin Pressman.
There he is.
Similar.
But it's one of those kind of your shorts pulled all the way up to your tits.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of type footballers.
He's in better shape than me.
So far. Give it time. You can join me on my 2025 journey to being fully ripped.
Optimised.
You're
optimising, aren't you?
That's
Tweaking
it.
and optimising, Michael. But yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for looking at that. I think what I'd really like us to do, I suppose, is to go out and sign a new number one. But,
I mean, that would be...
It would, but...
It's tough, isn't it?
Whoever you sign, if you're signing number one, are you signing a number one for 6 months, or are you signing number one saying, this is our Premier League goalkeeper?
Well, that's the dilemma, and I think that is potentially the reason why they won't.
Yeah.
If there is one reason why they won't, I think it's that.
It's a really tough hire.
It's because they are in that slightly in-betweeny nether stage of saying we need to get out of this division, but we still have one eye on the future.
But on the other side of it is, if you were to spend $5 million on a goalkeeper who then becomes your reserve goalkeeper in the Premier League, that's fine.
Yeah.
Having a £5 million goalkeeper on the bench is not weird in the Premier League.
No, I mean, like, look what Chelsea did with Kepa. A £70 million keeper who they've loaned out to Bournemouth.
Just chucked him in the bin. And they've gone through a few, haven't they? Because then they also signed, what's the guy's name they signed to replace, because Kepa was that bad, they signed someone else for loads of money and they've got rid of him since as well.
Right.
I can't remember the guy's name now. Mendy, that was it.
Mendy was in and out, yeah.
They had to bring him in because they were like, oh, this guy's shit. And then straight after they were like, oh, he's shit too. Just get someone else.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
Just keep churning through them.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you do? It feels like they need to do something just to move the narrative forward. But that's we were touching on that again with Bryn, weren't we? Saying like with the Harrogate Cup game, it gives you a little bit of something else to look at. But if that story is to be believed as well, and striker is part of the focus, do you want to see us dip into the market for that?
We've been linked with Mergim Berisha, haven't we? Is
that the Hoffenheim guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Seems to not play for them.
Yeah, and scored 1 in 17.
Former Red Bull guy.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know enough to say.
Didn't Jesse Marsh want him?
Yes. Which counts against.
Yeah, that means I don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Get someone else. I actually don't think, as much as I think that we do have an issue that we don't have an obvious number 9, we are scoring loads of goals still. So that end of the pitch seems more or less okay.
But
I do agree there should be, I don't think it means we shouldn't try to do anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are.
I think that's the reason to do something. I really do. Mend the roof while the sun is shining. Do it. If we're scoring lots of goals, let's score more and get out of it. It's what Bryn was saying on Monday.
That's what David O'Leary tried to do when we had 5 strikers.
Yeah, but let's have 3.
Okay.
Not 5.
I mean, it might depend. Striker movement as well possibly depends on if we can get Bamford or Gelhart's wages off the books.
Gelhart linked to a loan to Hull today.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's not played at all, has he? So he needs to get out.
Yeah.
But he's a bit like Bamford, trapped on big wages, because if you're looking to take him on, you probably take a look at his contract and thinking, yeah, but not for that.
Mm.
If you had a straight choice, right, between a number 9 or a number 10, what would you choose?
Is it a really good number 10?
Yeah, they're both good. You've got one sat there, good number 9, one sat there, good number 10. Who do you choose?
Number 9.
See, over summer, Farker apparently wanted Buendia, didn't he? He's not getting any game time at Villa still. He's coming off the bench for like the last 5 minutes of games. If we could get Buendia, I would be happy to take him as a 10.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's someone that Farker knows. He's very, very much proven at this level. He's proven at a higher level to a degree. So I would take him over, for example, this bloke who I've never heard of, who Jesse Marsh wanted.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it's based on who it is. I think is that that decision, isn't it? Yeah, I think
because if it's Edgar Charney again as the number 9, probably pass.
But I think given the option between two good options, my choice would have been number 10 for those annoying games where we just can't pick the lock. If you think of how many points Pablo won us in that last Bielsa season, purely by seeing the pass no one else did, I think if we had that kind of player, you can keep Meslier in net, you could put me in net and we'd be fine. Because I think the amount of chances we create, Piru scoring loads of goals. I still back Joseph to get a few if he gets a stretch in the team. James, Solomon, Nonto, Ramazani. We've got goals, I think. It's just the idea, can we infiltrate that defence when we haven't been able to for 70 minutes by doing plan A? And he wants to do plan A better number 10. I think we do it.
On a tactical front, I do agree with you, yes, on that. But also, I'm of the mind to say that the whole thing just needs a little bit of a shake, not a shake-up. It needs a little tweak. And I think I've spoken about moving the narrative forward before. And I suppose that's what I'm getting at is because we've got 2 forwards there and the order is fairly clear in the sense that it's more often than not going to be Pirro. Joseph comes in for the odd one when he wants to rotate, and then Bamford might come off the bench for 15, 20 minutes or whatever. So that's all set. But if you find you can move Bamford on or on loan or whatever, and you put somebody else new into that mix who's in genuine contention for starting, it then reinvigorates the other 2 strikers. It gives them a bit of a rocket.
Yeah.
And it just adds that little touch of difference to the dynamic of the squad. You don't want to upset it, as Farkas touched on, but equally, I think there's nothing wrong with just giving it a little bit of a shake.
I mean, some people have argued that that's possibly been the case with Meslier, that he's been too comfortable for too long because his position seems to be pretty much unchallenged, even when he's not played well. There's only Allardyce who's actually dropped him in from the point of him coming into the team, isn't there? So
one thing we can say is Ryan Kent just needs to retire now because
he's on a free.
He's still available, isn't he? Still available.
He's on a free?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
He went to Fenerbahce, it didn't work.
Oh, shit. So since the summer he's been on a free?
I think they signed him early and then he's been since released.
What's he done?
I can't remember.
Do you want to speculate wildly?
I can't remember exact.
What we should do is we should go on record with something that's libelous and then just backpedal at a later date. I think that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But we could get him. I think hopefully we're in a position where wide areas are very well covered. We've basically got the 4 best wingers in this league.
Although there was talking that was mentioned in that Daily Mail article about Louis Sibley, the lad at Villa, who seems to be an up-and-coming talent. There has been a little bit of noise.
Barry, you mean? Sibley was the one at
Derby prick. He has, because he's homegrown, but there's a potential maybe to buy him, and he helps from a Villa PSR point of view. If something like that comes up, then do you act? Do you move on that, even though we're well served in those areas? Do you try and then shoehorn somebody else into number 10? Do you use Ramazani there, Nonto? What do you do?
I don't know. Asking me for. It's complicated, that. How much are we paying for him?
£7.8 million.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, we might as well get him for that. Get Gareth Barry too.
Yeah.
As part of the deal.
Yeah. Any other Sibleys that you want?
He's not a Sibley.
He's not a Sibley, he's a Barry.
He's a
No,
Barry.
that's the joke.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
Barry from EastEnders. I'll have him too.
We need to pick ourselves a hero and villain of the week right now then. Lots of games to fall back on. We haven't done this since pre-Christmas.
Yeah, it's not really of the week, is it? It's of
the period.
Of Christmas.
Yeah, of the spell. Of the season. Not the whole season. The winter season. Season.
Who do you think is going to be the villain?
Well, if we are going to fall back on recency bias, it's got to be Meslier. John Eustace, by the way, he's a viable candidate for this.
Yeah, very much so.
Is he going to West Brom?
Yeah, it
and
seems to be.
We've got to play them again. Yeah, that's not fair.
Is that what you call it? What do you call when you blue sky it? It's not a tweet anymore, is it? It's a post on Blue Sky.
Sure.
After that,
it's a skeet, actually.
Is it a skeet?
They're calling them, yeah, they've been called skeets.
That sounds like an insult.
Yeah.
Your mum's a skeet.
Big mum out. She listens to this.
Yeah, no, I mean, as a general insult.
Apologise to her.
Sorry, you're not. But yeah, after that Blackburn game,
your mum is
saying, "I'm glad I won't have to watch Blackburn again this season."
Yeah.
Turns out I might have to watch someone else playing like Blackburn.
That said, if Coburn had still been at West Brom, he would have come and done exactly the same.
That is true. And it was quite nice to see Blackburn fans going mental about time wasting because Burnley were doing it.
Yeah.
You know, having tried to come to Ellen Road and not actually play any football.
Shot the bolt in the big game against Leeds, didn't they? Didn't have anything left in the tank for their other cup final.
Or Burnley are much better at defending, so 1-1-0, whereas we drew 1-1.
Right.
That's possibly it. But yeah, John Eustace, I just upsets me. We've still not managed to beat him. We're going to have to play him again.
I mean, Meslier, there is a way out of this. Like, it's the do something in the market, and I can kind of make peace with it. And as I said earlier in the show, I kind of feel sorry for him a bit now. There's almost a tragic element to all this in the way that it's unfolded.
I find it easier to feel sorry for him.
Whereas Eustace,
when it's outside of a football match, though, when I was watching that whole game, I had limited sympathy.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest.
But Eustace just grinds my gears now.
Yeah,
I think Eustace is a good shout if we don't want to pile misery onto Ilan, because he just seems to have our number, doesn't he? And it does feel like cheating that he'll get another shot at us. I was talking to Chris Mack in the office before, and I think this is a big step up for John Eustace, and he thinks that Blackburn are a bigger club than West Brom. Just as we take a little diversion, what do you think, Blackburn or West Brom?
You mean the other way around, by the way? You said
no. It was in Chris was saying that he thinks Blackburn are bigger.
Yeah. Right.
I see him as being pretty simple. I mean, Blackburn did win the Premier League, like, when I was a kid. So probably I would say
they're a point apart in the table as it stands. So it's a very much a sideways move. But maybe he's doing this just to stutter Leeds United. Maybe when he's played us against West Brom, he'll move to another team and then he'll end up at Portsmouth at the end of the season. Plymouth, pardon me, at the end of the season, just to try and fuck with us.
I mean, West Brom, I think, have got a bit more history and get bigger crowds, I'm pretty sure. Whereas Blackburn, they always seem to be rattling around in that stadium.
And also, you've got the Venkis there as well, who just seem to be utterly clueless.
Yeah, although they're taking a bit of a back seat, I think, haven't they? They're kind of letting other people run it to a large extent now, because their attempts to do it were catastrophic. But I'd say West Brom are a bigger club than Blackburn.
That's what I said. But Chris wasn't having none of it.
Yeah, I am persuaded by the Premier League title does influence my thinking on that. But the both, West Brom's a slightly bigger club, I think. 'Cause you can tell by whatever their attendances are. I think you can measure that.
Yeah.
Because they're both in a similar ballpark. And, yeah, West Brom consistently get bigger attendances. They have more long-term heritage.
Yeah.
Also, I don't care.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. I think John Eustace should simply retire from football.
Same. Yep. Call it a day.
Not go to either. Not be at either club.
I just want him to go to West Brom and find that he can't do the same thing with them.
Yeah.
That would be good. I mean, the West Brom fans were sick of Corberán's pragmatic football, should we say. And if they're getting Eustace instead.
I was going to say, what is Eustace doing in non-Leeds games?
I think they're much the same.
Right.
They're well organised.
Right. Yeah, because Blackburn have scored 28, conceded 23. West Brom have scored 32, conceded 21. So you've got a plus 11 goal difference for West Brom. So Blackburn arguably more negative than West Brom.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Works, though.
There's another name on here for the likes and dislikes, Michael.
Oh, I put Jonjo Shelvey on.
Is this a dislike or a genuine candidate for Villain of the Week?
Well, it's more of a long-term thing, Jonjo Shelvey.
Okay.
He's been involved in destruction of our goalkeepers because he was at that Blackpool game. I think he got a hat-trick in that.
Yeah.
The one that broke Rahubka.
Yeah.
And I feel like the downfall of Meslier, I've never quite trusted him since Shelvey scored that free. You know, the Newcastle game when they were right down at the bottom with us. We were actually better than them. Shelvey puts a free kick. Meslier should 100% save it. He doesn't. And I feel from that day onwards, it's been downhill. So there's something about Jonjo Shelvey in front of the cop that is destructive.
Some sort of kryptonite.
And if you look at him...
He looks like a Bond villain.
He looks like a baddie, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a Bond villain.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
He looks like Voldemort. Maybe he put a little spell on Meslier, and that's it.
So he needs to be investigated.
Right.
Or we need to buy him.
Right. That's a big shout.
No, where's he playing now?
He was at Forest, wasn't he, at the time? But it was just when Forest bought everyone. I don't know if he's still there.
We don't need Jonjo Shelvey. I'm going to put it out there.
It's about another Baldwin. Oh, he's in Turkey.
He's in Turkey at one of those regen named clubs.
Oh, it's a Yorkshire club.
You just beat me. You've just beaten me to that joke because I've seen the name of it and I hate the fact that you beat me there.
Can I guess it?
Go on.
Upspor.
Yeah.
Say Upspor.
Yes.
I'm so annoyed that you got there first.
Is he going to be the first bald man to go to Turkey and not come back with hair?
Imagine if he did. Imagine if he came back with full locks.
It's possible.
Like Valderrama.
Yeah. All right then. Fine.
So do we give it to Meslier or John Eustace?
It's Meslier.
It probably is.
No,
really.
I'm not prepared to do it.
No, but
No.
the misery that
He has caused me more. Yeah, this is an award for somebody who's caused us misery. But
John Eustace was just doing his job.
so was Meslier, just badly.
No, he wasn't. No,
Yeah,
he
there
was,
you go.
even though he's failing to do his
there
job.
you go. Eustace was doing his job and it upset us, but Meslier failed to do his job and it upset us. I don't want to pile on for Meslier.
But
because
Eustace didn't have the good grace to beat Burnley, so he's doubled his crimes.
That is true.
Okay, yeah, you've turned me around there.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Melior's had enough flack, I suppose.
he has. He needs to be left
We
alone.
spent most of this podcast and the last one and the one before that.
And Eustace is moving on to another club so he can beat us again.
Preemptively causing us misery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's John Eustace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine.
But Elan Meslier, get on the naughty step.
yeah, sort your shit out.
Naughty bench.
Yeah,
That's what it needs to get on.
or bring us 13 million quid.
The naughty plane.
Whichever it may be. Right, let's move on to the Gitano Berardi Hero of the Week, sponsored by the TukTukClub.com. Exciting times in Tuk Tuk world. Have you seen what's
Is it?
Yeah. Lots of big Tuk Tuk is really coming to the fore. Thank you to Bruce, who's been in touch and given us some new info about what's going on at the TukTukClub.com. 2025's nearly sold out already.
Bloody
Bookings
hell.
there. It's all right, isn't it?
Decent.
We're only a week into it, so
Well, it's decent unless you want to go in 2025.
well,
But book ahead.
2026. There's another year after this one.
Well, let's hope so.
If Leeds United don't get promoted, I'm fine to accept a meteorite right in the face.
All right, yeah. That's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll agree.
That's absolutely fine. Here's a challenge for you. They're getting some new tuk-tuks. They're rekitting the whole suite of tuk-tuks, and they need names. But the tuk-tuks need names between 2 and 4 letters. Obviously, OW is the obvious one there.
2 and 4 letters.
Yeah, probably on a number plate or something like that.
I see.
Or like, planes have got like a 4-letter code on them, that kind of thing. These are like planes with more wheels and a slightly smaller engine.
Just slightly smaller.
A bit more open plan as well.
Mhm.
Down the flanks. So if you've got any ideas for names for tuk-tuks, they can't be too overtly Leeds. That's the only thing. Because obviously if non-Leeds fans see one with an LUFC number plate or whatever, they're going to go, not getting on that, you bastards.
Can you imagine LS11? Would you get away with that? Or people spot it?
Could do.
Anyway, send your suggestions in at thetuktukclub.com for details on all that. TSB 15 as well for a 15% discount on your booking for 2026. Right, candidates for Hero of the Spell.
Well, you mentioned him already. Talk about Tanaka. Talk about his goal. We've not talked about that goal at all, have we, really? Because it was
Another
overshadowed.
crime that Meslier committed, actually. Distracting from that.
He couldn't bear to see people liking.
He's a joy vacuum.
Exactly.
Mood hoover. Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Although I was under this table, as you mentioned,
Yes.
on the match ball, Dean, I was fiddling with the cable because Dean's mic was making noise, so I was trying to be the good Samaritan and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Game kicked off while we were.
I don't think it's really Samaritan to try and fix a podcast that you are.
Hero. I think hero is a fine description, Michael.
All right, fine.
Me under the table performing heroics.
Doing your job. Well done. Getting into Roy Keane territory here, but
Do you know what the best part of that goal was, aside from obviously the hit and the fact it went in the back of the net? His little face afterwards.
Yeah.
A lovely time.
Do you know what I imagined? His parents on a train.
Nice. No, they were in the away end there.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I didn't mean they were on train at that moment. I thought afterwards getting back on the beers again.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
did on the way back from Derby.
His mum had 6 cans of Stella, I heard.
That's all right.
Yeah, headbutted a train guard.
Right. That's a shame.
Yeah.
got away with it. She was let off.
Right.
Right. Do you know who she is? And we were like, oh, no, it's fine.
Out and mum.
You are free to go. Bit of mum chat on this. Well, I was, because your mum's a skeet, obviously. We've had the chat then about Tanaka's mum.
You do know I'm going to get a message from my mum saying, "What's a skeet?" A skeet is nothing, by the way.
Skeet is
Mum.
nothing.
Yeah, it's just a word that's been made up.
Yeah.
Let me just check Urban Dictionary. Hang on a minute.
But yeah, I can add it to my Tanaka's mum. She's not on social media as far as I'm aware, so I can't.
Have you looked?
I can't track her, and I don't have the budget to do intercontinental mum tracking either. So,
Oh no, skeet does mean so it is in. Yeah.
oh, does it? What does it mean?
Yeah, I'm
Is
not.
it a bad thing?
I don't want to position this so close to discussing my own mother.
Okay, fine.
Look it up.
People can look it up. In fact, I could look it up and read it out.
No,
I won't.
Yeah.
Can I give another nomination for Piru? Loads of goals. The idea that we're trying to choose between, is it Joseph? Do we need a new number 9? He scored a load of goals. He scored a load of. If he carries on the way he's doing, he'll get 20 this season, and that's what we want from a striker. Surely.
I'll explain it in this context. I got so excited when Tanaka put that goal in that I skeeted.
But he's still on skeet. This guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Still thinking about skeet.
Do you leave a skeet mark?
Something like that. Pirro, yes. Sleepy Joel has scored lots of goals. What about?
He's very much under the radar, isn't he?
Yeah.
For someone who's just quietly going about his actual job. Speaking of what people are paid to do, score goals, and his goals per minute is incredibly good because he doesn't always. Well, he comes on a bit, scores. He's taken off quite a bit, but scores before he's taken off quite often. So, yeah, he's doing all right, really.
Yeah, I know we said that we shouldn't look too far ahead, but he will be a useful sub in the Premier League when we get back there for next season.
Possibly.
Yeah, good squad player. Yeah, he's a definite candidate. Yeah, he's done all right as Sleepy Joel. What about poor little Brendan? I mean, it was spotted that you've taken to calling him.
Dean noticed I've started calling him Brendy.
Brendy. But only when you like him. So if you're slagging him off, you say Aronson, you hit him hard with the Aronson, you give him his last name. But when you're quite cheerful about him, Brendy. But he's really cute.
Anybody who's been following this show for at least the medium term will know you have this sort of bubbling fanfic going around in your head about him and Milana's life.
Yeah.
And I think
that's what she calls him, yeah.
Yeah, I think
she calls him Brendy.
She calls him Brendy, and I think that's what you exist in that world now.
It's possibly spilt over, yes.
Yeah.
I will admit. They were having a snowball fight the other day.
Right.
Oh, they were certainly like playing it. It looked like it'd be a playful snowball.
Has he overthrown one a little bit, even though he's quite puny? He's overthrown one a bit. It's hit her in the face. She's crying.
It's gone right over the top of her, like most of his shots, etc. But he did score. No, the reason he's on this is because he did score the winner at Derby.
Yeah.
Which was a happy time.
It was.
If we remember. You were in the home end for it, weren't you?
How close were you to that? Were you close?
Yeah, really close. I went onto the Leeds United Uncut video and I found a picture of myself behind the goal when the ball's hit in the back of the net.
You had a hat on, I remember. You were sat next to a bloke who had, I think, a red hat on.
Yeah.
And I was looking for the two of you in the footage because if you watch that goal back, by the way, it's glorious because the number of people who put heads in hands just as that hits the net and you think,
when you get to see it unfolding.
A little bit like Blackburn got to do on New Year's Day at Ellen Road to us. But yeah, you could see the feeling manifest itself in just sheer disappointment. And I was looking for hats.
Well, I'll show you the picture afterwards. You can zoom in. And I can't tell you the adrenaline when that ball hit the back of the net.
What noise did you make internally?
Yeah, it's like a squeak, like a kettle boiling. But like the adrenaline, I can't really remember how the goal came about from, obviously I've seen the replays, but from the moment and then how I felt afterwards, I have no idea, just because I got this flood of adrenaline. Was like, do not out yourself as a Leeds fan. But it was great day, lovely day.
And did you enjoy walking back to the car afterwards?
I did, because walking back to the car, you're hearing all the Derby fans, and well, quite upsettingly, they were quite happy. They were like, oh, they kept talking about aggregate 3-0. They're like, we've lost to Leeds 3-0 across 2 games there, and that's good.
Well done us.
Is that the limit of your sick ambitions?
I've listened to a bit of Derby stuff, propaganda, and there was not, because given it's kind of long ago, it's maybe not going to feature anyway at this point, but I listened to it. There was no one particularly angry. They were like, we played pretty well, really. So,
they were just really angry at the ref in the stand.
Yeah, that was weird.
And it was, again, I sat with my brother-in-law who's a Derby fan, and he was like, not all of the refs making good decisions there, but it just felt like they got nothing to shout about, so they were getting on. They were
absolutely furious when that bloke got a yellow card for kicking Ethan Ampadu in the face.
Yep.
Like, his boot didn't go near his face. Full boot-to-face contact. They were like, he's faking it, ref. He's not. He's been kicked. Yep. He's allowed.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, we mentioned before, my brother-in-law is also a Derby fan. I haven't heard from him about this game.
I wonder why.
Do you want to see Brendy and Milana in the snow?
Oh, Brendy.
It's nice, isn't it?
No, it's sickening, isn't it?
Young people in love, playing in the snow.
Are they on the stray there? Or is that his back garden?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, it looks like the kind of Victorian housing behind it and stuff. Nice. What a lovely life.
Is that you in the bushes behind?
Thankfully, she puts that much on Instagram. I actually can save myself the trip.
Right.
I feel like she doesn't eat a meal without me seeing it, which is good.
There's a low key sort of simmering resentment that's fueling this fanfic as well, isn't there? Just a low key middle aged anger.
I'm just saying. I know. Farker made a thing about Brendan being alone at Christmas. I think he might have been glad of the break. Not have to have a flicker book of the day. Opening every present. Picture with it. Yeah, fine. Here's the turkey being cooked. Yeah, just get on with it.
Put some hot sauce in your eyes so it looks like you're crying, that kind of thing. Who's your hero of the week?
Do you want to give it to Tanaka? I feel like he deserves it actually this week because his goal has been completely forgotten about in all the Meslier chat.
He deserves it, yeah.
And he gave us some lovely content because his parents were in the away end and then on the train. That was lovely stuff.
That was good.
It was wholesome. It was more wholesome than that sickening love affair, isn't it?
If Milana was on the stray with a can of Tisky, I'd have much more respect for her.
Yeah.
You see, you're suggesting you need to get a boozing outdoors.
Yes.
Right.
And not in a
sort of tramp way.
And not in a, cute girls in the park having a picnic way. I mean, just some cans.
Right.
I don't want it to go with a blanket. I don't want it to go with a picnic. Maybe a sandwich from Tesco.
Right.
And 8 or 9 cans.
I'm just looking at the weather. I mean, it's
not probably now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's currently 3 degrees outside, which it feels like -3 with wind chill. And if you're American, grow up and start using Celsius.
Well, are they from a snowy part of America?
I was just going to say, I don't think that's necessarily quality picnic weather. That's all I'm saying.
No, okay.
But she could have a big coat on and a pit bull on a lead that's actually a bit of tinsel and a few cans of Kestrel. She'd have a great time.
Yeah. Good strong look.
It came up in, Google Photos gives you a little, if you're on Google or Apple, probably all the same, chucks some little photo memories.
Yeah.
A picture came up of a few Christmases ago the other day when Phil gave us some cans of Tennent's Super.
Right, yeah.
That'd be a nice option for her.
I think I used that to clean my toilet or my sink.
I drank it out of a champagne glass.
When? When did that happen?
Around Christmas when Phil gave us it as a gift because I thought it'd give it a classy touch.
Lovely.
I've just looked. It's due to get down to -7 this week, which, if you're Norwegian, obviously doesn't even touch the sides. But for us, that's pretty cold. That's like 20 degrees in your Fahrenheit.
I don't understand Fahrenheit.
Yeah, stupid.
It's really confusing. Don't do it, everyone.
32 is freezing.
We don't need it.
32 is sweaty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 32 is Spain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Grow up. Anyway, we don't need to get into that.
Centimeters too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tanaka.
From how many meters? Yards?
It was Tanaka.
Yeah. We do reserve the right to describe Thunder Bastard shots in yards. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
That wasn't a Thunder Bastard.
No, it was.
It was more cultured than a Thunder Bastard.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. How would you describe it? What word would you use? Looping? Was it
I'd call it a click.
Whippy.
Right.
It was Mateus Click.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He used to favour that shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Right then, Tanaka.
Yeah.
The Tanaka family.
Da-da-da-da.
Excellent stuff. Right, we will wrap it up there then, and hand this theoretical trophy over to the Tanakas, and they can put it alongside all the many trophies we will win with Tanaka at the heart of our midfield, sandwiched in between our new striker and our new goalkeeper. Should we go do some skating?
Let's.
Sure.
I already have.
We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.